All right, guys, welcome back to the garage. So a couple things. First of all, we got the band back together. Mr. Jacob Staggerball has decided to play hooky from work and come by the garage and help us out. Bill's here to film. Everybody, I'm sure, is very happy about that because my filming skills are not the greatest. Now that we have all of the parts and pieces at the machine shop for them to do the competition valve job and also balance the crank, pistons and everything so that we can build the engine, we still have a lot of work to do. We need to get, I want to do some lizard skin in here, see if I can get rid of this heat shield. It'll also make up a little bit of extra room. We're really close to the corner with the back spark plug wire on the passenger side. We've got axles ordered. There'll be a few more weeks. Bought all of the bushings and arms and everything to support the rear and get rid of the wheel hop. So we've got trailing arms, we've got tow rod arms, we've got cradle bushings, diff bushings, you know, basically everything that we need to try to eliminate or minimize as much as possible the wheel hop. So we got to get the rear out. Obviously, we have a ton of stuff already in the way. So project number one is going to be making some space. This is pretty nasty, so we're going to take this, we're going to carry this outside, we're going to grab the pressure washer and pressure wash everything so it's nice and clean. Once we get this back in, and we'll go ahead and drop the rear, we're going to do the same thing with the rear. We'll take that outside, we'll pressure wash it, we'll bring it back in the garage, go ahead and we'll build it while it's still on the floor, put all of the new parts and bushings in it, and then get it back in the vehicle. I'm going to come down to where we're going to set it right on top of this diff and we'll work on it there. Ready? Sure, that's fine. It locked right into it. Shit. Well, sure it's fine. Just like chops on the cat. Dexter's in the house. So now we've got our gun ready to go. We've set up an inline filter, so we're going to reduce this to whatever the pressure was that they recommend. I'm actually going to read the instructions. We also have an incandescent dryer that we're going to use to keep moisture out of there. This is waterborne, so not as bad as regular automotive paint if we were painting with an enamel or something like that, but still, we don't want any water getting in there. We want everything to be nice and dry. We don't want any contaminants in there that's going to mess up adhesion. We've got our pressure set at 60, so you'll see it's 100 psi until we start spraying. We're 65, I don't know if you can zoom in on that, Bill, but we're 65 at the trigger blowing. All right, so now we're gonna mix up, we're gonna go ahead and take our paddle, we'll get our drill, we're gonna go ahead and mix up our lizard skin, get it poured into the cup, and we'll be ready to get started. So basically what we've done is we have taped everything off as best we could to keep the overspray to a minimum. We're going to be, you know, this stuff is very viscous. It's not as, it doesn't atomize the way normal paint does, so this should be more than enough for us to keep the mess to a minimum. As you can see, we basically just put down plastic sheathing on the floor, and then we're draping everything else off of the car. And we've taken aluminum foil and anything that we don't, you know, want covered in the lizard skin that we, you know, in holes and bolts and things like that we still need to use. We've used aluminum foil and covered those all up. So now we're going to go ahead and we'll go ahead and mix up the lizard skin, and we'll start getting some of this stuff put down. I wanted to get rid of some of the aluminum and less than attractive fiber heat shield material that was in there. So we're going to coat the firewall and the drive shaft tunnel and underside of the floor pans with lizard skin. So it took probably a lot longer to get this vehicle prepped for the lizard skin than it will actually take to actually spray it. We're doing 2 gallons is what they suggested that we use. So 2 gallons, we're doing black. I also have the top coat coming in that'll give it a nice sheen and make it a little more chemical friendly. We also are using their Pro Kit, which will come with the paddle mixer and also their spray gun. It's a very viscous material, so there's a very specific spray gun. Instead of guessing at it, might as well use the gun that it was designed to put it on. While the first coat is curing, we're gonna run over to the machine shop, grab the crank and all the parts that we left over there. By the time we get back, we should be ready for the second coat. So
Too tight is what hurts you more than too loose.
Absolutely.
okay, so if I was 3, I'm better off than if I
I'd
was
rather
at
see
1.
you 3 than at 2.
Yeah, we
Okay.
can't have one.
1, unacceptable. 1.5, unacceptable.
Isn't that the factory spec 1?
Probably.
Well,
Nah.
the book, you
What's
go
the book
to the book,
say?
it may say 1
1
to
and
3.5.
Yeah, 1 3/10, I think, to 3.
Yeah.
Is what
Okay.
the book says. Generally, they're set up a little on the tighter side.
Okay.
Boost, you don't want that.
And you showed him
Clearance-
already the book where we keep up with all the
Yeah, we've
rubbers.
got all of your weights and all of that saved.
Okay.
If you
For
hurt
future
anything,
reference,
we could,
which
we
hope
could weigh a
doesn't
piston out or a rod out or whatever.
Based
it
on
take.
what
Right.
cylinder it's going in.
Right.
Okay.
Of course, if you have questions, call us.
Okay. I probably will. More
That's-
than likely, I
that's
probably
fine.
will. Just go with whatever the rings say as far as the file fit for the.
Yeah, it's going
For-
to recommend so much for nitrous. It'll say street nitrous. It may say 4.5 thousandths per inch or more. On
Do
the
you
top
have a
ring,
book?
5 on the second.
I don't
Do you
have
have
a book.
the
I
information
was
on
at-
your rings?
So it should have been in the thing with the
Okay.
rings.
It is always better to file it and you say, oh, I'm a thousandths or 2 bigger than to say, oh, I'm a thousandths or 2 smaller. I'll put it in.
My service guys were over at the house. They took a motorcycle lift out, and when they did, I don't know what the hell they did with my pins for the heads. Now I've got studs. Does it matter if
Yeah,
I use
yes.
those pins?
You've got to use them.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I had them sitting on the floor, and when they came and got
You
that
got to
motorcycle,
have 'em.
yeah, I'm down to 1. I've got to get. Where the hell can I get
Well,
that?
you got 3, haven't you? For MLS gaskets, it's got to be slick, because if it's got any kind of roughness to the finish, it tracks liquid and compression. Because the MLS gasket is hard,
Okay.
and it don't seal like a composition gasket would. Of course,
Okay.
they're way stronger and way better if you got the right finish. On your block, take you a hard block, or so we got a piece of plastic we use, and maybe take some 320 paper and go this way and this way, cross it like this,
Yep.
and just sand it. Don't never put a circular device to cut a head or a block, because you leave
Okay.
grooves in it. Take that sandpaper and block it off, and that way you can see if you got a low spot, and it'll also clean it really good too.
Okay.
Here's 2. I'm going to look at another block.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Yep. So from the initial startup, 500 miles.
That is only if it lasts 500 miles.
Okay.
I had to jump in on that, but I couldn't help it.
I think your point is you could spend all the money in the
Unlimited
world.
money don't stop them from blowing up.
No.
Right.
You got to be careful with what you do, and don't exceed the limits of anything you're doing.
Yeah.
And I think you started out great. You're doing everything you can do.
I'm trying to. I know most of your customers say I ain't gonna do but.
yeah.
I'm trying to build it here, but my intention is to run it here.
That's right. Hey,
Thank you, brother.
really.
Freddie, thank you.
I'm
Good to
sorry.
meet you.
I'm
Nice to meet you
sorry
too,
I'm
sir.
a bug hole and I'm grumpy, but I can't help it.
That's okay. Ray warned me.
Yeah. Hey, amen, brother.
Just almost back from the machine shop. You guys got a little bit of that. You know, it's awesome to work with super talented people that really know their stuff, and Freddie and the guys over at Auto Fleet and Machine definitely know their stuff. We're almost back to the garage. We're gonna try to get the second coat of lizard skin on, and keeping to true Lee format, I have also scheduled a podcast for us because we didn't have enough stuff to do already today, and we've got a podcast immediately following getting that second coat of lizard skin on. So stay tuned. We should be finished theoretically with the lizard skin this evening. We're going to get a podcast done, and we've got the stuff to start building the engine. My main goal was to cover the firewall and get rid of some of the heat shield stuff that was there. Also, they had the heat shield on the tunnel and everything else, and I wanted to get rid of that heat shield material and make this look better. There's the top coat we still need to put on there, which will basically put like a gloss type finish or a semi-gloss type finish on this. But this is the lizard skin ceramic insulation, and we basically coated the whole underside with a lot of focus and attention on the drive shaft tunnel. Back here above the diff, and over here where the exhaust is. This is the muffler hangers over here, so there's going to be, you know, traditionally there's going to be a lot of heat in this whole area. So the idea was to get the ceramic insulation on here and help. We also, since we were spraying it anyway, I went ahead and sprayed brake lines and fuel lines. These are the fuel lines running, you know, connects here and then runs all the way up to the front of the vehicle. Wanted to get those sprayed as well, just to help keep some of the heat off of the fuel, because with being a pro charged application, we're generating a lot more heat than the stock factory engine would have. So ultimately, I think it came out well, especially since it's the first time I've ever sprayed this stuff. I was happy with the product. Did a lot of research. There's a ton of information online. If you're watching this episode of the UTE build, then hopefully we put some really good information in there for you in terms of application. And then, you know, ultimately, like I said, what we were trying to do. And we also wanted to dress it up a little bit just in case, you know, from the back side, you can actually see some of this when you're behind the vehicle. So we wanted to dress this up. When the exhaust comes back, we're going to Zy-coat the exhaust. So we're trying to reduce underhood temperatures and pretty much reduce temperatures underneath the vehicle in general. So we're going to Zy-coat the entire exhaust system all the way back, and it's going to be a bronze color. And so we wanted that bronze color to have something to pop other than that olive green looking color that was from the factory. So ultimately, it was a pretty easy job. Took a lot more time to tape this off, hang the plastic, aluminum foil everything. It took more time to do that than it did to actually spray this stuff and get it on. So next we'll put the top coat on, we'll call this done, we can move on to the engine build.